Hello, my friends. Can you all hear me? I think you can. All right. Um, Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I am back with a new live stream, and I see that few of our friends have already tuned in. Thank you all for being here. And as we move forward, I am hoping that more of our friends will be joining. Okay. If you are here for the first time, please introduce yourself. Write the name of the place where you are from in the live chat window. The live chat is where the discussion takes place, and the live chat window is extremely important because that is what makes this community strong. The fact that we have dialogue, the fact that we share information, the fact that we exchange our views, the fact that we ask questions and we respond to questions, and that we participate in a lively discussion. So the live chat window is extremely important, my friends. Please make sure that you are participating, okay? Okay, I see Kay is here, Kay Cooper, Frank, and Stacy and NC. More and more of our friends will be tuning in as we move forward. So I'm gonna get started, my friends, because I am looking forward. I'm looking forward to talking about what I want to talk about today. It's one of the hottest topics right now, which is the U.S. Canada relation. That's what I'm going to talk about, my friends. You know this, that Mark Carney, and he is the Prime Minister of Canada. Mark Carney and US President Donald J. Trump recently had a meeting, and the meeting took place in the White House in Washington, D.C. So Prime Minister Carney visited Washington, D.C., met with President Trump in the White House, and I must say that it was quite a friendly um, meeting. That's what it seemed to me. Obviously, I don't know um, the behind the scenes happenings. Okay, like there was also a closed door meeting, and I don't know what happened in the closed door meeting, but the public portion of the meeting, the one for which media was present, the one that was widely broadcasted and publicized, that part of the meeting seemed quite friendly in spite of the differences in viewpoints that these leaders have on a range of issues. Scott is here. Hello, Scott. Good to see you. Scott Wells. Uh, Thank you so much. NC, did you say you like my shirt? Thank you, NC. I appreciate that. Thank you, my friends. Make sure that you're supporting this channel. And the way you do it is by liking the video, by subscribing, and by sharing the video. So please do that. That girl is here. Hello, that girl. Good to see you. Um, all right, let's continue. Um, there's no doubt that President Trump and Prime Minister Carney have differences um, in viewpoints on a range of issues. Okay, they are not on the same page. They do not think in the same way, um, and we know that. But for this meeting, we saw that the two leaders, they were sitting next to each other in the White House, in the Oval Office, and the media was there, and the Prime Minister of USA, the President of USA, and the Prime Minister of Canada. So the President of USA, Donald J. Trump, and the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, they spoke They answered questions, and it was quite a friendly environment. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about all that in a little bit. Um, they disagreed on certain things. Prime Minister Carney and President Trump, they disagreed on certain things very clearly in a very outspoken manner, but overall, the environment was very friendly. Now, my friends, in recent months, we have seen lots of tension between the two countries, tension between Canada and the United States of America. Some changes that have taken place have made um, have resulted in rising tension between the two countries. Okay, because some changes have been made in the U.S.-Canada relation. We know that President Donald J. Trump has taken steps to put tariffs on Canada, and for a reason. In fact, for multiple reasons. The tariffs have been imposed for multiple reasons. And President Trump has made it very clear that he is going to put America first. And what did we see? As a result of the tariffs, there was a shock in the Canadian economy. Would you agree that there was a shock? Some people might be inclined to say, oh, nothing happened in the Canadian economy, but I think there was a shock. Do you think so? By the way, that girl is asking, I hope, that girl is saying, I hope your mom is well. Thank you so much. I appreciated that, girl. Thank you. Uh, let's see. All right. Thank you. I think I'm seeing that girl after quite a while. So thank you for being here. Artins is asking, hey, do you still support Trump? Always. Always. What a question. It says, hey, do you still support Trump? What do you mean? Yes, I have been supporting Donald J. Trump since the beginning, since 2015, since the first time that Donald J. Trump announced his candidacy for the president of the United States, the first time Donald Trump ran. Remember that. Remember he came down the escalator. Remember that? Then he gave a speech. He launched his campaign. I have been supporting Donald J. Trump since the beginning. 2015 made it very clear. For anyone who may be wondering, or maybe you missed my live streams, or you haven't kept up with the discussion that I'm having on this channel, let me tell you, yes, I have been supporting Donald J. Trump since the beginning. And I still support him, and I will continue to support him. And I'm not alone. There are millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of Americans supporting Donald J. Trump. Now and always. Now and always. Claudia Greenwood is here. Hi, Claudia. So good to see you. And Tenacious is here. Tenacious, thank you for being here. Frank is saying thank you for your support. This is a different Frank, right? This is a different Frank. All right. Edwin is here. Hello, Edwin. Thank you for being here. So as I was saying, my friends, because of the actions that President Donald J. Trump took and imposing tariffs as one of them, as one of the actions, we got two Franks here. We got Frank, both are Frank G. Frank G and Frank G. We got Frank Gehry from Florida, and we have another Frank. That's Frank G also. Helena is here. Hi, Helena. So as I was saying, there was a shock in the Canadian economy because of the actions of President Donald J. Trump. But you know what? Let me make something very, very clear here. President Donald J. Trump's intention was not to shock the Canadian economy. President Donald J. Trump's intention, his objective, his goal was to strengthen the American economy, to put America first, to look at American interests, to look at things that would make America great again. That is what President Trump did. He is putting America first. And to put America first, he has to take a series of actions, and he took those actions. And as a result, there was a shock in the Canadian economy. And over the last few months, my friends, we have heard some very, very strong reactions coming from Canada. Some very, 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 very strong reactions coming from Canada. We saw Justin Trudeau resign. We saw Justin Trudeau resign. He stepped away from his role as the prime minister. Justin Trudeau gone, made the decision to leave, made the decision to depart, and his replacement is Mark Carney. Mark Carney became the Prime Minister of Canada as a result. Now, Carney, and I've talked about this before, Carney has said some not so friendly things about the United States of America and about President Trump. Mark Carney, yeah. If you have been keeping up with all the things I've been discussing on this channel, you know this already. And if you missed what happened, let me tell you what happened. Mark Carney said some not so friendly things about the United States. He said some not so friendly things about President Donald J. Trump. And we also saw reports of Canadian travelers canceling their trips to the United States, primarily as a sign of protest. Give me 1 second, my friends. I'm gonna change the screen here. My friend Terry just joined. Terry, always good to see you. Terry is here from South Dakota. My friends, I'm going to pause for a second. Let me ask you, do we love South Dakota or not? Do we love South Dakota? Is South Dakota a truly amazing state? Tell me. AC Cruz is here. AC, tell me, do you love South Dakota? Do we, as Americans, love South Dakota? Chazzy Star is here. Bob is here. Wow. Roberto is here. Wonderful. Kay Cooper is saying, hi, Terry. South Dakota is cool. Absolutely. We love South Dakota. And one of the best cabinet members that President Trump has on his team, Kristi Noem, came from South Dakota. As Terry said, everybody loves South Dakota, home of Mount Rushmore. Claudia says, love South Dakota. Yes, we do love South Dakota. So wonderful. So let's continue with the conversation that we were having. We saw reports of Canadian travelers canceling their trips to the United States primarily as a sign of protest. And, you know, here's what happened. You saw all these reporters, you know, they go around with the microphones And they go and find Canadian travelers and they ask, how do you feel about the tariffs? How do you feel about President Trump saying that Canada should be the 51st state? How do you feel about this? What's your reaction? What's your comment? What are your thoughts? So the reporters, oh, they were busy. They were busy. The reporters were busy going to Canadian travelers and asking them all these questions. And then, of course, we saw that a lot of Canadian travelers, they said they were very unhappy. They don't want to travel to the US. They don't want to come to the US because they're unhappy that President Trump wants to make Canada the 51st state. But I'm going to tell you something else which media might not have told you. If you saw those reports, then you probably heard the Canadian travelers say how unhappy they are and that they're not going to travel to the US. They are boycotting the US. They're canceling their visit to the US. They're canceling their room reservation, their hotel reservation. They're canceling their planned trips. They're not going to come to the US, so on and so forth. You heard all that on media because that's what the media told you. But what if I tell you now that many Canadians, our friends, the Canadians are our friends, and many Canadians, they want to see Canada become a part of the United States. Would you believe me if I tell you that many Canadians, many Canadians, they want to see Canada become a part of the United States? Tell me, share with me your thoughts. There are many Canadians who believe in unity. There are many Canadians who recognize the endless possibilities for progress and prosperity. Many Canadians, they understand that if Canada and the United States, if these two countries become one, if Canada becomes a part of the US, then the sky is the limit, truly. The sky is the limit. The combined country will be the strongest in the world, and the second strongest country will be far, far, far behind. Tell me, my friends, do you believe what I said? Do you agree with my viewpoints? Claudia, thank you. Claudia says TT. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, my friends. Thank you. And make sure if you are here for the first time, please subscribe. You got to subscribe and support this channel. We are once again gaining momentum. We are growing. The views are going up. More and more people are tuning in. We're going to be stronger than ever before. EHR is here. Evelyn, so good to see you. We got our friend Evelyn from Las Vegas, and we love Las Vegas. Evelyn's here. All right. So, you saw those reports that Canadian travelers were saying, oh, we're boycotting the US. But that is not the complete picture. It's one-sided. It is not the full picture. It is not the complete truth. Many Canadians, they are waiting for the day when Canada will become a part of the United States of America, when that artificial line separating the two countries will be gone. As President Trump said, he talked about the artificial line that separates USA and Canada. Why does that line exist? Why? So, shared values, common bond, and people on both sides of the border, people in the US, people in Canada, they all love freedom. So why that artificial line? So, my friends, President Trump proposed to make Canada the 51st state, and that proposal, those words had a major impact on the minds of the Canadian politicians. The Canadian politicians and the Canadian politicians, especially the ones who belong to the Liberal Party of Canada, those politicians are not happy. And so we saw, and you just look at the last few weeks. That's all you have to do. Just look at the last few weeks. And I'm sure you've heard how Mark Carney responded with a sharp tone. He was very sharp. Mark Carney didn't like the idea, did not like the proposal from President Trump, the proposal of making Canada the 51st state. Mark Carney didn't like that, so he responded with a sharp tone. But that sharp tone, that response also indicated that Carney realizes that the proposal from President Trump is a real one. It's not a joke. It is a real proposal. It's not a joke. And it is a real proposal. It's a real offer. And President Trump made it very, very clear that the people of Canada will benefit if Canada becomes a part of the US. Taxes will go down. And Canada, the Canadian people will benefit from having the greatest military, the US military. Because if Canada becomes a part of the US, then the US military protects everything. And imagine the combined natural resources, how strong that will make this combined country. America has abundant resources, natural resources. Canada has tremendous natural resources. And together, this country is going to be the strongest ever by far. I mean, if you make a list, this combined country will be strongest. And as I said, the second strongest will be way, way, way down. Tanya is here. Tanya, good to see you. Proud trucker's wife, that's Tanya. Right, Tanya? If I am getting your name wrong, please correct me. But that's Tanya, if I remember correctly. So, my friends, during the White House meeting, Prime Minister Carney emphatically said, he said that Canada is not for sale. Okay. He also said that Canada will never be for sale. All right. But then President Trump said something. President Trump said, never say never. Never say never. My friends, if you support President Trump, if you support what he said when when Mark Carney said Canada will never be for sale, President Trump said never, never say never. Who do you think is right? Who do you think is correct? Who do you think is correct? My friends, we can never guarantee the future. So I agree with President Donald J. Trump. Never say never. Never say never. My friends, any person with an understanding of politics, anyone who understands politics, anyone who understands international relations, anyone who pays attention to what's going on around the world. Marjorie is here. Marjorie, so good to see you. That's Marjorie, our friend from Canada. We appreciate Marjorie. Thank you for being here, Marjorie. Thank you for being a voice of reason, Marjorie. Thank you. Marjorie supports Donald J. Trump and his views. Is that right, Marjorie? Correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you for being here. So, as I was saying, anyone who understands politics, anyone who understands how nations interact, anyone who understands how the world evolved, how people have evolved over the course of history, anyone who has studied the past, whether it's the recent past or the ancient past, anyone who has some basic understanding of how the different countries and governments and systems and empires evolved, how kings were defeated, how new kings were born, how democracy came to be, how people started voicing their opinions through polls and through elections, how we got to the point where we are right now. From the ancient times to present day politics, how did we get here? Anyone who understands, who has some basic understand of that journey through time, would agree with President Trump that never say never. Never say never. Outcomes cannot be predicted. Results cannot be known ahead of time. No prediction can do that. So never say never. When Mark Carney uses the word never, Trump says never say never. My friends, here's what I think is going on. I think Prime Minister Carney is revealing his fear because Prime Minister Carney truly knows that Canada might become a part of the US. And that's why he emphatically says Canada is never going to be for sale. Canada will never be a part of the US. Canada is a sovereign nation, will always be a sovereign nation. By emphatically saying all this over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, I think he is revealing his fear because deep down, Prime Minister Carney knows. Deep down, Prime Minister Carney knows that there is a real possibility that Canada may become a part of the United States of America. And you know what? If that happens, humanity is going to benefit. Humanity will win. It'll be a victory for humanity if Canada becomes a part of the US. The world will be a better place if Canada becomes a part of the US. Tangerine is here. Tangerine, thank you for being here. My friends, If you are here and you are new and you just came across this channel and you are wondering what is going on, who is this person, what is he talking about, please be patient. Stay here. Don't go. Don't scroll away. Don't leave. Stay. And I will tell you what this channel is about. You will have a strong understanding of the kinds of discussion we have here. We talk about social and political issues, both domestic and international. And you know what? Domestic and international are not separate. It's connected. Everything's connected. What happens in international politics will affect our lives here in the US. And what happens in the US will affect the whole world. It's all connected. So become a part of this community. Look at all the freedom-loving people who are here, who are participating in the live chat. We got Scott Wells, we got Tangerine, we got Evelyn, we got Marjorie, we got Frank, we got Kay Cooper, we got so many people. We got Marjorie. Whose name am I missing? We got Claudia Greenwood. We got so many others. We got Bob. Who else? There are so many others. Be a part of this community. Subscribe. Please do so. Subscribe, my friends. Scott says this is a great place. Thank you, Scott. You know what makes this place great? Each and every one of you. Each and every one of you, freedom-loving people, you make this channel great. You make this community great. I'm here because of you. We are all here because of each other. Fred is here. Fred, so good to see you. If I have missed greeting anyone, I apologize. I think Edwin is here too, right? Edwin is here. Thank you all. So, let's continue. Let's continue. We got a lot to talk about. So Mark Carney keeps highlighting that Canada is a sovereign country. We know that. We know that. Why is Mark Carney stating the obvious fact over and over again? Yes, we know Canada is a sovereign country. We know that. The fact that he keeps repeating it, it suggests that there is an inner fear that's working inside Mark Carney, because he knows that Canada might become a part of the US. But you know what? If Canada becomes a part of the US, the people of Canada will still be free, and perhaps they will enjoy higher levels of freedom. Because we know what the Trudeau government did in Canada during COVID. Remember that? Remember what the liberal Trudeau government, what they did to restrict people's freedom during COVID. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? Frank is saying T. Thank you, Frank. Deha is here. Hi, Deha. Deha from Seattle just joined. Seattle, right, Deha? I think so. Yeah, Washington State for sure. Likely Seattle, if I remember correctly. I may be wrong. So, as I was saying, if Canada becomes a part of the US, the Canadian people are not going to lose their freedom. In fact, they will have higher levels of freedom. If the Canadian people, if Canada becomes a part of the US, the Canadian people will enjoy more freedom than before. Because we know that the liberal government of Trudeau, now the Liberal government of Carney. But I'm not going to bring Carney into this because he's fairly new. We'll talk about Trudeau. What did the Trudeau government do? The Trudeau government restricted people's freedom during COVID. You remember all that, right? So the Canadian people will be better off becoming a part of the US, becoming a part of the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. And so Carney keeps highlighting that Canada is a sovereign country, but if you're truly sovereign, you don't need to repeat it over and over again unless you truly feel that there's a possibility that Canada will become a part of the US. And I think Carney realizes that. Carney understands that. And he's trying to prevent that from happening. Carney is trying to prevent Canada from becoming a part of the United States. Now, one thing was very obvious during the Prime Minister's visit to the White House. When Mark Carney visited the White House, his tough language and his sharp tone were gone. As soon as he appeared in front of the President of the United States, Mark Carney's sharp tone and his tough language were gone. And you know what? It's easy for someone to make tough statements from far away. Okay? And that's what Carney did. In Canada, when Mark Carney delivered those speeches, he said tough things about the USA and about President Trump from far away. But as soon as Mark Carney appeared in front of President Donald J. Trump, his tone changed. Mr. Carney's tone became much softer. Much softer. And that's why I wrote it in the title of the live stream. I wrote softening of the tone. Softening of the tone. Do you agree with me? I've been presenting my analysis, but I want to hear from you. Do you agree with me or you don't? If you don't, you can let me know. Hey, Toss, if you're wrong completely, you can say that. You're free to say that. But if you agree with me, let me know. Evelyn agrees with me. Thank you, Evelyn. Scott Wells agrees with me. Kay Cooper agrees. Thank you. Thank you, Kay. Cherise is here. Cherise, good to see you. Daniel is saying Trump is the boss. Yes, that is true. Claudia says, I agree with you. Thank you, Claudia. So, my friends, at this point, I'm going to request once again, if you have not subscribed, please do so. Please subscribe. So, when the leader of the free world is in front of you, and this applies to Carney, all the tough statements just go out the window. Prime Minister Carney's body language showed that he seemed very eager to have a dialogue with President Trump. Prime Minister Carney's body language revealed the fact that Canada needs the United States of America. Why do you think? Let me ask you this. Why do you think Prime Minister Carney visited Washington? Like right right after being elected, he visited Washington. Why? Why didn't he wait for another month? Why didn't he wait for 6 more months? Why did Prime Minister Carney visit Washington, D.C. right after winning election? Because Canada needs the United States of America. Because Canada needs the US. We are the market. Every country around the world, most countries, they need the American consumers. People will say, oh, China is powerful. China is producing all the stuff. Well, if China is producing all that stuff, what are they going to do with all that stuff if they cannot sell it? And who's the largest buyer? The United States of America. You understand the power of the American consumer. Understand the power of the American consumer. If we don't buy, the other countries will not be able to earn any revenue. If we don't buy. So, Americans, understand the power of your wallet. Understand that because of American consumers, all the other countries are dependent on us. So Canada depends on the United States. That is a fact. Marjorie just wrote the USA is Canada's largest customer, right? Marjorie, thank you. Marjorie, thank you for your input in this chat. I appreciate that. We buy, which is why other countries can make a profit. And so Mark Carney visited the White House because he understands that time is of the essence. Because Mark Carney understands that every day that goes by, every day that the tariffs are in place, Canada is losing, and Canada is eager to come to an agreement with the United States. Canada is eager to have a dialogue. Canada is eager to negotiate, which is why Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada visited Washington, D.C. My friends, during that meeting, Mark Carney was much softer in his voice, as I said. And President Trump also had a very soft tone. But that tone, President Trump's tone, also sent a message to the American people that this president may have a soft tone, but he is full of determination and his resolve is strong, and he's going to do what he's going to do. My friends, I see a lot of new viewers, so we are going to be doing a little bit of an exercise. We're going to do some exercise. Let me tell you what we're going to do. If you support President Donald J. Trump, you know what to do. You know what to do. Write, I love Trump, or I support Trump, or Trump 2025, or Trump forever. Whatever you want to write it. Or you can write MAGA, just like our friend Marjorie wrote. Write MAGA. Express your support for President Trump. So what comments am I seeing? MAGA. I love Trump. MAGA. Trump 2025. I love Trump. I support President Trump. I love him. I love Trump. Trump. MAGA. MAGA. Amazing. 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 You know, in my mind, I am going back to November. Actually, let's go back to October. In my mind, I'm going back to October. And what you can do if you are new here, you can go back and replay some of my live streams from October of 2024. We had a lot of energy in the live chat, a lot of freedom-loving people. They were supporting President Trump, at the time 45th president, as he was running to be president again. They were supporting President Trump, but there were people right here on this channel who challenged my views, who said that Trump would not win. I remember this one person who said, "Oh, get used to saying Madam President." He thought that Kamala would win, but you know what? God is great. Kamala did not win. God is great. God saved our country. God actually, God saved humanity. God saved the world by making sure that the honest man wins, Donald J. Trump. Imagine what the world would be like right now if Kamala Harris would have been the president. Oh my God, I cannot imagine that. I cannot imagine that. Right now, if Kamala Harris would have been the president, what a disaster we would be facing. Oh my God. God is great. God is great. Freedom of religion. You can practice any religion or not practice a religion. It's up to you. It's up to you. Whatever your faith is, whatever God you worship, the same creator created everyone. That we can agree on. That we can agree on. No matter what faith you belong to, what religion you follow, what God you worship, the same creator created us all. And that creator, the Almighty God, saved us. The Almighty God gave us President Donald J. Trump. The Longden family is here. Kara, good to see you. God saved America. And God saved the world. Here we are, with hope, with optimism, with dreams of a better future. Why? Because we know it's possible, because President Donald J. Trump is in the White House. Thank you, my friends. Optimism and hope. Optimism and hope. Let's see who's here. Let's see who's here, my friends. Anyone here for the first time? Anyone here for the first time? Jackie is here. Hi, Jackie. Good to see you. All right. Ross is saying first time. Thank you for being here. Anyone here for the first time? I want to thank you for being here. Thanks so much. All right, let's see. Uh, all right. Okay. My friends, give me 1 second. Okay. Here's the reminder to please subscribe if you have not done so already. We're 51 minutes into the live stream. I'm going to continue. Um, but please support this channel. Subscribe. We are trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. Right now, we are at, okay, let me tell you. Right now, we are at 13,367. We're trying to get to 20,000. Help us get there. Help us get there, my friends. Jackie is saying, stop ignoring me. I'm not ignoring anyone, my friends. You know, it's not possible to respond to each and every question or comment. And because the live chat moves quite fast when there are a lot of people here and everyone's writing, so it's not possible to respond to everyone. So if you feel like I ignored you, I apologize. I'm not ignoring anyone. I just can't respond to each and every question and comment. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Who else is here? Denzel is saying very welcoming. Thank you, everyone. All right, Denzel, welcome to this live stream. Okay, so um, my friends, I talked about the White House meeting that Prime Minister Carney and President Trump had, but it's not possible for me to summarize the whole thing. Um, I think it's very interesting if you can watch the replay, watch the video yourself, and you'll like it. Trust me, it's not that long. You'll like it. Probably, I don't know, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, something like that. Um, Oval Office meeting. Mm, all right. So yeah, you will find the video on the internet. I would encourage you to watch um, the Trump-Carney meeting video. Selena is here. Hi, Selena. Good to see you. Yeah, Denzel, you are right. Canada needs America. Canada needs America. Absolutely, that's true. And this is just a fact. It's just a fact. Okay, it's not um, us trying to show that hey, we're more powerful. No, nothing like that. It's just the fact. You pick any country. You pick any country around the world, and the fact is that the United States is more powerful than that country. And you just pick any country. You pick any country from any continent around the world, and the US is more powerful than that country. So it's a fact. And, um, you know, politicians, there are politicians who look at the bigger picture, They look at the long term, and there are politicians who look at the short term. Um, the liberals in Canada are who don't want to see Canada becoming a part of the US, they're not looking at the long-term picture. They're not looking at the long-term picture. In the long run, it is beneficial for the people of Canada to be a part of the US. And um okay, I'm trying to see who's here. Okay, a viewer is talking about Greenland. All right, I'm going to be talking about Greenland some other day, not today. I will talk about Greenland. I have talked about Greenland actually, but I'll talk about it again. Um, I don't know. Should I do it right now? Would you like me to talk about Greenland now? Let me know. If you want me to talk about Greenland, I can. Jackie says yes. All right. K. Cooper says if you like. Marjorie says yes. All right. Okay. Let's talk about Greenland very briefly. Okay. Um, Greenland is of strategic importance. Greenland is going to be better off under US control. It's just a fact. I know that some of our friends in Europe may not like to hear this, but yes, Greenland is going to be in a much better position if it's under US ownership. And I want people to understand one thing. It's not an expansionist viewpoint. It's not like, oh, US is just looking to expand. No, this is not building an empire. It's not an empire. I mean, those days are gone, okay? When there were kings and queens and there were empires and the empires would expand, those days are gone. We live in a modern world with strong democratic institutions, with law and order, with systems of governance. So no one's looking to continue to expand endlessly. That's not what's happening. The truth is, by the way, that girl is saying, love to your mom for Mother's Day. Oh, thank you so much, that girl. I appreciate that. Thank you, everyone. To all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day in advance. Happy Mother's Day in advance. Thank you. So as I was saying, this is not about the United States wanting to expand and expand and expand endlessly. No. It's about looking at the geopolitical landscape and figuring out what is in the best interest of the world. Yes, we put America first. We are Americans. We put America first. We think about what's in the best interest of America. Yes, we will. Every country will look at their best interest. But the bigger issue is we have to look at what is in the best interest of the world. Now, we see that the United States is the country that is extremely powerful and that has strong institutions, and a country that is committed to protecting freedom. You are not going to find another country in the world that is as powerful as the US and focuses on protecting freedom. Okay? I mean, somebody might say, "Oh, there's China. China is big. China is becoming more and more powerful." But China is a communist country. The Communist Party of China is in power. Where are the institutions? Where are the democratic institutions in China? So yes, China might be a powerful economy. They have ambitions. They want to grow. Okay. But they don't have strong institutions. They don't have the democracy that the world wants to see. But the United States has everything. It's the perfect recipe. We have strong institutions, we have checks and balances, we have co-equal branches of government. You've got the executive branch, legislative branch, the judiciary. No one's more powerful than other. Co-equal branch, checks and balance. And our country protects freedom. Not only protects freedom within the country, but also promotes freedom, as we have done in other parts of the world as well. Countries from around the world, they look at US institutions and they learn. They learn about what works. And so Greenland is of strategic importance. The threats are rising around the world. And the world needs a strong America. And to remain strong and to be even stronger, America needs Greenland. Strategic importance. Look at Greenland on a map and you will know why it is so important, why we need it for geopolitical safety and security and for global prosperity. Global prosperity. We need Greenland. Greenland is of strategic importance. And President Trump is someone who is willing to talk about it. You're not going to get that from any other president. We did not. Just look at the past presidents. I don't know if you're a Republican or a Democrat, but look at the last few decades and look at the presidents. No one took the kind of steps, no previous president. You pick your favorite president, all right? You want to pick Obama, you want to pick Clinton, you want to pick George Bush, you want to pick Joe Biden, you want to pick just pick your favorite president, okay? Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, whatever your political ideologies may be, just pick your president. And the fact is, no president has done what President Trump is doing. No president was ready to do what President Trump is doing every day. He knows what to do. And he's fearless. And that's why he is being so vocal about Canada and Greenland. Yes, we need Greenland. And we need Greenland not just for us. We need Greenland for global security. My friends, share with me your thoughts. Share with me your thoughts, my friends. I see a lot of new names in the live chat. And I don't know who seems to be in agreement with me and who's not. Do you agree with me, my friends? Do you agree with the things I said with my analysis? And I'm curious, particularly when it comes to the new viewers. Claudia agrees with me. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Claudia. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, somebody said I don't agree. All right. Not everyone has to agree. Okay, my friends, I want to draw your attention to this poll that I'm conducting. The question is, will Canada eventually become a part of the United States? Share your thoughts in the poll, okay? The choices are yes and no. So go ahead and vote if you haven't done so already. Answer the question. What do you think? Will Canada eventually become a part of the United States? Evelyn is saying we are stronger together. Absolutely, we are. Tangerine says yes, Tassif. Selena says no. All right. All viewpoints are welcome. If you say it's no, it's a no. If you say it's a yes, it's a yes. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, my friends, we are 1 hour, 8 minutes into the live stream. Should we wrap it up or should we continue? I think I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. We are 1 hour and 8 minutes into the live stream, my friends. I'm going to wrap it up, but I will be doing more videos and more live stream. So let me just say that overall, the meeting in the White House between President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Mark Carney, the meeting was good. We don't know what happened in the closed door meeting, but based on publicly available information, based on the public part of the meeting where members of the media were allowed and they asked questions and we saw the answers, it was a good meeting. It was a good meeting, and so um, we have to wait and see what happens going forward in the U.S.-Canada relation. Um, but you know what? We have a president who is going to put America first, and for that we are very, very grateful. We are very, very grateful. Now, the bigger question remains: is Canada eventually going to be a part of the U.S.? We have to wait and see. As President Trump said, never say never. So Mark Carney might say never, but Trump says never say never. So we have to wait and see what happens, my friends. Thank you so very much for tuning in for this live stream. I will be back again with more live stream and more videos and more short videos. So please stay connected. If you are here for the first time, make sure that you have subscribed, and please like this video and please share this video. So thank you all so very much. May God bless you all. May God bless President Donald J. Trump. May God bless the Trump administration. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless our U.S. allies. And may God bless freedom loving people all over the world. With that, I'm going to wrap up this live stream. Have a wonderful night, my friends, and I'm going to be back again soon with more videos, more live stream, more discussion, more political commentary. So, thank you so very much. I'm very grateful for all your love and support and encouragement. And we will continue to speak the truth. We will continue to share the facts. So, thank you, my friends. Have a wonderful night. And I'm going to be back again very soon.